Welcome to the Rosbifs Rugby Top 14 Round 8 preview, the 8th weekend in a row in the Top 14. The squads are starting to get a bit stretched. 4 of the bottom 5 sides have home games, so this weekend could be critical for gaining a bit of momentum. First up, UBB versus Po. It doesn't get any easier for Po after their battling performance against Toulouse last week at home. They put so much into that, got nothing, came out bloodied and bruised, and as a reward, they get a trip to Stade Chaban-Delmas, where UBB have been unbeaten and have dished out a few hammerings as well. UBB also fully rested Luku and Jalibert last week. They didn't play, and a lot of their big bulky forwards like Tatafu, Matiu, Samu, they were all on the bench too, so they will likely be at full noise this weekend. And after that defeat at La Rochelle last week and a defeat in this fixture last year, they'll be out for some sort of revenge, and it's hard to see them not winning. Po do play with lots of pace. UBB have been relentless in their pace in some of the home games. Could be very high scoring, although UBB's score could be a lot higher than Po's, unfortunately for my boys. Van really need to win all of their home games, especially if they're going to concede 50 points regularly away from home. Cast have been good this year, including their away games, definitely an improvement, but they are still winless away from home. Will Cast target this as an away game that they can win, get them into that top 4, top 6? If they do, they certainly have the pack to at least match, if not better, Van. They seem to have developed some decent squad depth this season, so even if they do send a weakened side, they should have a good chance of winning. Rich is backing his boys. I think this could go either way. I'm going to go really bold. I'm calling a draw. First time either of us has ever called a draw. Lyon v Bayonne. Both sides are in really good form and doing better than pre-season expectations. We've spoken loads in the past about Lyon's home record and how dreadful Bayonne's away record is. So on the face of it, this should be a comfortable Lyon win. But they match up pretty comparably. 2 big packs, 2 brilliant outs. Lyon perhaps play with a little bit more pace out wide, but Bayonne's backs have looked so much more accomplished in the last few weeks. Mangala has been excellent. He's got Tuolangi on his inside. He's settling in well. And Tiberien at the back fit, makes a big difference coming into the line. So Gons have started to take a bit more ownership of the side as well. But after going full noise in 2 big home games, will they send a slightly changed up side? It has been a long block of fixtures. We would love to see them keep that continuity, and it could be a cracking game if they do, but don't think they will. So Lyon will win this one. Well, where are Montpellier at? It's a question we seem to be asking every week. So whereas Bayonne and Lyon have settled sides, Montpellier's selection has been all over the place. They've had 5 different halfback combinations in their 7 games so far. 4 different players have played 10. It's just a shambles. That said, personally, I don't want to speak for Rich, but I don't mind the combo of Hogg and Reinach as a halfback pairing. I quite like that. I like the back row they had last week of Nucci, Simmons and Vunipola. Me and Rich both love that. But La Rochelle were back to their best last week. They showed lots of cohesion in 9, 10, 15. So Kerbalo, Hastoy and Dulan, that's been built up over the last few seasons. Does Antoine Hastoy have a bit of a point to prove after not making the France squad? I'm going to go for Montpellier. They've got to win some home games at some point. Rich is going for La Rochelle after they looked so good last week. Racing were abysmal last week. No plan, no structure, no detail or precision. Very unlike a Stuart Lancaster team. Had Henry Arundel largely to thank for getting a couple of the tries. They finally return to La Défense Arena. The circus comes back to town. Will that make a difference? They've essentially been on the road for the last 7 games, which is tough. It should make a difference, shouldn't it? Certainly the likes of Legarec, Arundel, Tuisova, Max Spring, they should enjoy the fast track indoors, but it may suit USAT too. They've played with slightly less pace and fluency this season than last year. But they got the win at home last week. That could give them a bit of confidence. I think that's going to happen. I'm going to back them. Rich is backing Racing, as he has in pretty much every game this season. It's certainly a logical choice back at La Défense. Maybe this one will be a draw too. Who knows? The Saturday night game, Stade Francais v Clermont, feels like quite a similar game to that USAT one. Contrasting fortunes for these two last week. And actually, Clermont are riding high in 5th after they hammered Van. At home, Stade were completely dominated away at Castres last week. And like Montpellier, it seems they are quite a long way off working out their best 15. I'd like to see them go for Brad Weber and Louis Carbonell in the halfbacks, give them a run of games, try and build a relationship. They seem surprisingly reluctant to do that. Their pack and line out hasn't been anywhere near what it was last year. That's before we even get to their defence, which is completely different. Clermont's pack and their line out has been great all season. But despite that, we are both going to back Stade Francais at home. They just need to turn it around. Returning home might help that. Could be a cracking game on Sunday evening. Toulouse versus Toulon. Toulouse, we know, are a real force at home on Sunday evening. Yes, ignore the loss to UBB a couple of weeks back. They weren't at their best last week away at Pau, but their defence was brilliant and they just looked so threatening with so many match winners ball in hand when they did get the ball. Toulon are one of the few teams capable of matching them up front, especially if they go full strength. We'd love to see that, especially up front and in the centres, bringing some of that big bulky power that they've got. Ganuka and Frisch would be quite cool. Two key players for Toulon, perhaps two of the most unlucky to miss out on France squad selection this week in Danny Priso and Baptiste Seram. Can Priso get some joy at scrum time, disrupt Toulouse in that one chink in the armour that we know they have? Can Seram show that he's the second best all-round 9 in France behind Tony D? Would love to see both these guys prove a point and for Toulon to give it a good crack, but there will be a few changes and Toulouse are going to win this. So a bit of disagreement between the two of us this week. The table could look completely different after this set of fixtures. The bottom half certainly will. But let us know what you think. Which side are going to come out of this weekend with a bit of positivity?